All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're focusing on an absolute stunner of the houseplant world. We're talking about the lush, gorgeous, and wonderfully pet-safe Fluffy Ruffles Fern. Now, if you've ever heard that ferns can be a bit, well, dramatic, you aren't entirely wrong. But today, we're going to completely demystify its reputation and give you the exact blueprint for total success. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by getting to know the fluffy ruffles. Then we'll dial in the perfect environment and go over watering, soil, and feeding. After that, we'll tackle pruning and propagation, troubleshoot some common problems, and wrap up with pro tips for expert growth. Let's get into it. Section 1. Meet the fluffy ruffles, the delicate cousin of the Boston Fern. This tropical evergreen perennial can grow to an impressive 2 to 3 feet in both height and spread when you treat it right. But what's really fascinating is how it compares to its very famous relative. See, the fluffy ruffles is part of a massive family. There are over 40 distinct types of Boston ferns. While the classic Boston fern is known for its gracefully arching, relaxed mound shape, the fluffy ruffles really stands out. It boasts this uniquely dense, lacy texture with finely cut, tightly ruffled fronds. It's essentially the highly textured, intricate cousin of the traditional fern. Moving right along to Section 2. The perfect environment, covering light, temperature, and humidity. Because this fern is native to warm, humid, tropical regions, replicating that vibe indoors is your absolute secret to success. First up in the environment hierarchy is light. You want to aim for bright, indirect light. An east or west-facing window protected by sheer curtains is absolutely perfect. Why? Well, a few hours of direct, harsh sun will literally scorch those delicate fronds. On the flip side, if you give it too little light, you'll end up with sparse, leggy growth. And hey, if your home doesn't have great natural light, a basic grow light can easily help bridge that gap. Next up is temperature. The sweet spot here is between 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is roughly 15 to 26 degrees Celsius. If you happen to live in warmer climates, specifically USDA hardiness zones 9 to 11, you can actually move these guys outdoors in the summer. But listen closely to this. You absolutely must bring them inside if the temperature dips below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. They cannot tolerate frost at all, and cold drafts will cause immediate, severe damage. And then there's humidity. This is perhaps the most critical metric of all. 50% humidity is the absolute bare minimum for this plant to even survive. But 70 to 80%, that is the real sweet spot to keep those dense fronds looking pristine and vibrant rather than dry and crispy. Now, if your home isn't naturally a tropical jungle, don't worry. Here are some highly actionable ways to boost that ambient moisture. Humidifiers are fantastic, and so are simple pebble trays filled with water sitting right under the pot. You can also utilize terrariums or just place the fern in a bright bathroom where your shower steam does the heavy lifting for you. Daily misting is another great option, which has the added bonus of cleaning dust off those intricate leaves. Just a quick heads up though, if you're maintaining super high humidity, you have to ensure good airflow around the plant to prevent any fungal issues. All right, Section 3, watering, soil, and feeding, the sustenance for lush growth. Now that the environment is fully dialed in, we move to the active care phase. And this naturally leads us to a really common question. How often should you actually be watering your Fluffy Ruffles Fern? Well, this plant is thirsty. It loves moisture. But, and this is a big but, it strictly prefers moist, never soggy soil. There's a delicate balance to strike here. The golden rule: rely on touch, not a calendar. Just check the top inch of soil. Once that top layer feels dry to the touch, water it thoroughly until it drains freely from the base of the pot. And always, always use room temperature water. Cold water straight from the tap can actually shock the tender root system. Also, keep in mind that during the winter, when the plant's growth naturally slows down, you should let it dry out just a tiny bit more between waterings. To support that perfect moisture balance, you need the right foundation. Here is the ideal soil mix. Start with a rich organic potting soil. Add some peat moss to maintain a slightly acidic pH, somewhere between 5.0 and 6.5, and then mix in perlite along with some sand or orchid bark for drainage. This highly porous mix is exactly what prevents root rot. As for repotting, plan to do this every 2 to 3 years in early spring. When you do, choose a porous pot, just 1 to 2 inches wider than the root ball. That keeps the growth nice and dense. For feeding, you'll want to use a balanced liquid fertilizer, diluted to half strength, applied monthly during the active spring and summer growing seasons. Now, here is the crucial takeaway.
never apply fertilizer to dry soil. Doing that can severely burn those tender fern roots. Always water the plant first. Or, if you prefer natural options, an organic fish emulsion works wonderfully for providing gentle, beneficial micronutrients.
Section 4 brings us to pruning and propagation, focusing on active plant maintenance. While this fern is a moderate grower that rarely needs aggressive pruning, occasional tidying up is essential for both aesthetics and overall plant health. The routine is super simple. Use sterilized shears to clip off any dead, damaged, or diseased fronds right at the soil base. This clears the way for airflow and promotes lush, new growth. If your fern is getting a little too wild and you need to rein in its size, you can actually cut the longest fronds halfway back. Just make sure to let the plant recover for several weeks afterward before doing any more trimming. Want to multiply your collection for free? You can propagate these ferns by division. In early spring, carefully remove the plant, then untangle and divide that root mass. The trick is making sure that each divided section has plenty of roots and fronds attached. Then repot these new divisions in a light seed starting mix and enclose the whole pot in a clear plastic bag. It's like a DIY mini greenhouse. This maintains ultra-high humidity for about 4 to 6 weeks while the new roots establish themselves.
Let's move to Section 5, troubleshooting common problems, or, as I like to call it, becoming the plant doctor.
The massive surface area of those densely ruffled leaves looks absolutely beautiful, but it means the plant loses moisture very rapidly. Because of this, it can react quite dramatically if your care is off. This matrix right here is your best diagnostic tool. Seeing brown, crispy edges, your ambient humidity is simply too low. What about yellowing from the inside out? That's usually underwatering, or those dense outer fronds are blocking light from reaching the center. Bleached white patches mean sunburn. And if the plant is wilting but the soil is wet, you're likely dealing with root rot. To prevent root rot in the first place, always remember to water at the edge of the pot, not directly into the dense center crown where moisture easily gets trapped. Pests are another hurdle we have to watch out for. You might find spider mites leaving webbing in dry fronds, or mealybugs hiding deep in the crown. Keep an eye out for scale insects attached to lower stems near the soil line too. You might also spot fungus gnats breeding in moist topsoil, or white flies clustering underneath the leaves. They'll usually fly up in a little cloud when you disturb them. Because of the fern's incredibly dense nature, finding these pests early is really tough. Frequent checks are absolutely necessary, and when you do treat them, your sprays or systemic treatments have to penetrate deep into the complex layers of the plant to actually work. Finally, Section 6, pro tips for expert growth to really elevate your care routine. Let's rapid fire through these final expert level adjustments to ensure your fern absolutely thrives. First, try to use distilled or rainwater. This prevents heavy mineral buildup in the soil over time. Second, gently wipe the leaves occasionally to remove dust and improve light absorption. Third, rotate the plant every few weeks. This encourages even, upright growth on all sides rather than the plant aggressively leaning toward the sun. Also, make sure to keep the fern 3 to 6 inches away from window panes to avoid temperature shock, and definitely shelter it from those hot, drying indoor winter vents. So, what does this all mean for us? Are you ready to master the ruffled canopy? By implementing these structured steps, from dialing in the lighting and humidity to perfecting your watering routine and defending against hidden pests, you now have the total confidence to make this gorgeously textured, completely pet-safe fern a lush, thriving centerpiece in your home. Get out there and start growing.